how's it going everyone? This is the Anime Man. So some exciting news has just dropped today, ladies and gentlemen. The news has come out that Adult Swim has just formed a collaboration or a partnership with the anime studio Production IG to create seasons 2 and 3 of the cult classic anime series Fully Cooley. And so a lot of people are hyped, and what I found super interesting is that when I looked at the trends list over on Twitter this morning, more people were talking about this than the last episode of Erased. So you know it's a pretty big deal. Season 2 and 3 will follow the same tradition as the original first series and will each be 6-episode seasons which follow the story after season 1. Now, about 6 months ago, this news actually dropped that there was going to be a sequel or a remake to the original Fully Cooley series, but we got very little information on it. The only thing we found out was that Production IG, who actually co-produced the original anime series with Studio Gainax, now bought the full rights to Fully Cooley, and that it was either going to be either a sequel or a remake. Even that was quite unclear. But today we got a lot more information on this actual Fully Cooley sequel project. We now know that season 2 and 3 is in the works right now, and we know some of the staff members behind the season 2 and 3 of Fully Cooley. Kazuyuki Motohiro, who directed anime such as Psycho Pass and other Production IG animations, will be now directing under the supervision of the original Fully Cooley director. So the good thing is the original director will be involved in some way or another for these 2 seasons, which gives me the indication that they definitely will bring back some of the elements that made Fully Cooley what it was into the new series. So it will be different to the original Fully Cooley series, but not entirely different. There will still be some nostalgia elements that a lot of Fully Cooley fans found in the first series. Another interesting staff member is Sadamoto Yoshiyuki, who is the character designer for the new Fully Cooley series. And what's interesting is that he was actually the character designer for Neon Genesis Evangelion. So the good thing is, even though Gainax doesn't own the new Fully Cooley seasons, there are a lot of staff members from Gainax working on these new seasons. However, unfortunately, there was no particular news of the Japanese rock group The Pillows coming back to do the soundtrack of the anime. And if you guys don't know, The Pillows are one of my favorite Japanese bands of all time, and their soundtrack definitely is a huge standout, not only within Fully Cooley, but also in anime soundtracks in general. There are a lot of comments going on about this news that if The Pillows don't come back to do the soundtrack, then it is not Fully Cooley anymore. They made that much of an impact in the Fully Cooley series. Now, on a few websites, they have released the general synopsis of what season 2 is going to cover, which I'm going to quickly read out. In the new season of Fully Cooley, many years have passed since Naota and Haruhara Haruko shared their adventure together. Meanwhile, the war between the two entities known as Medical Mechanica and Fraternity rages across the galaxy. Enter Hidomi, a young teenage girl who believes there is nothing amazing to expect from her average life, until one day when a new teacher named Haruko arrives at her school. Soon enough, Medical Mechanica is attacking her town, and Hidomi discovers a secret within her that could save everyone, a secret that only Haruko can unlock. But why did Haruko return to Earth? What happened to her Rikibaka 4001 she left with Naota? And where did the human-type robot Kanti go? All these questions and more will be answered in the new season of the series, which is set to premiere in late 2017, early 2018 on Adult Swim. So right then and there are a few things we can discuss. First of all, we now know that the new season isn't going to be coming anytime soon. They mentioned late 2017, early 2018, which is more than a year from now. And from the synopsis, we can also ask a few important questions, such as, will Naota come back? Where will Mamimi be involved? But it's kind of cool to see that the protagonist has changed from a young male to a young female, because the original Fully Cooley series really explored such themes as adulthood, puberty, and the sense of growing up within yourself, which was really told from the standpoint of a young boy. And we had Haruko, who was the strong female lead, who kind of was the maternal role, with Naota growing up and, you know, discovering adulthood for himself. As we can see, with the new protagonist being a female, it's probably going to open a lot of avenues to discuss the same kind of themes that they discussed through the first season of Fully Cooley, but this time in the eyes of a female. And with Haruko still being involved, she's probably going to still play as a maternal role, with Hidomi's character development and her growing up in this society and through this strange galactic war that she's going to be faced within. But at the same time, the romance and the romantic tension that was born between Haruko and Naota in the first series is going to disappear and possibly be turned into something else. I don't know, maybe there might be some kind of Yuri elements that are born. Like, Haruko is such a unpredictable character within the story, but especially after the story and especially after all the things that she went through with Naota in the first series, and this being a sequel to the first series, it's probably going to start the new season with with that development already have happened in the first series. So she might be a different character in the second season compared to the first season, but she might also be the exact same. You never know. It's really going to be interesting to see how the series is going to start and what the kind of gap is between that end of the first season and the start of the second season. Now, I'd like to discuss the pros and cons of creating this Fully Cooley season 2 and 3, because there are some advantages to making a season 2 and season 3 of this cult classic, but again, there are also some negatives, and I like to look at both sides in an unbiased manner. Now, as it goes without saying, if these season 2s and 3s are played out and are created in the same soul as the first series, which, judging from the staff members that have been announced making the season 2s and season 3, is probably going to be very close to the original series, then this is going to end up being an absolutely brilliant anime. It's probably going to be just as good as the first season, if not better. And again, with the possible success of season 2 and 3, this is really going to expand the Fully Cooley name out to these newer people who have just stepped into the anime community, or people who never really gave Fully Cooley a go. And not to mention that there are a lot of laws and metaphorical Easter eggs hidden within the original Fully Cooley series and within the lore of the Fully Cooley story. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to expand on that, and whether they do expand on that or not will definitely get the fanboys and fangirls of the Fully Cooley series talking. Now, as I want to look at this in an unbiased way, there are a few reasons as to why I don't think it's a good idea to make a season 2 and 3 of Fully Cooley. The biggest point being is that, as much as we hate to admit it, Fully Cooley is a very hipster anime. It's aimed at quite a niche audience even within the anime community, those that can appreciate the more artsy kind of anime. And unfortunately, with the anime community being slowly forming into a younger demographic and slowly turning into more of a it looks easy, it's an anime, not really thinky kind of a series, it's gonna be, I think, a little bit more difficult for series like Fully Cooley to re-emerge in this time. But hopefully, with the very dedicated fan base from the original 2000 series, it will re-emerge and it will make a big name for itself. And again, as I saw on Twitter, this doesn't seem to be a problem with that. But the hipster side of me is kind of against exposing Fully Cooley to this younger audience or to this newer audience that doesn't really want to appreciate these kinds of anime. I'm kind of scared that a lot of these newer anime watchers are going to see Fully Cooley and be like, what the fuck is this bullshit? This makes no sense, it's confusing, it's stupid, fuck Fully Cooley. All because they don't understand Fully Cooley, or they don't want to understand Fully Cooley. And unfortunately, since Fully Cooley appeals to that clique of anime viewers, that very clique of anime viewers kind of want to keep it a secret. They don't really want to expose this. They're like, no, Fully Cooley is our series, we appreciate it, and we want to keep it underground and hipsterish. And of course, with any other season 2 or season 3 of these cult anime classics, or even just anime classics that did well, the season 2s and 3s are usually seen as money grabs. Especially with it re-emerging after 16 years, it really does seem like Production IG just want to use the Fully Cooley IP and use it to make money, whether it is good or not. In my personal opinion, I hope to God that season 2 and 3 is going to be fucking as awesome as season 1, if not better. Unfortunately, right now, it's very hard to determine whether it is going to be good or not, because even though we got all this new information compared to 6 months ago, it's still very hard to determine whether it's going to be good. We have absolutely no visual cues whatsoever. There's no trailers, there's no images. The synopsis, again, is very esoteric and very vague, so it could really be shifted in any way. But guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think about the season 2 and season 3 announcement of Fully Cooley? Do you think season 2 and season 3 is going to be good? Is it going to be bad? What are some points that you want to see made within season 2 and 3? And what do you think are some points that may potentially ruin season 2 and 3? Anyways guys, thanks for watching. As always, like and favorite if you enjoyed, subscribe for more anime banner, and I'll see you guys next video, whatever I make. Keep watching anime. Ciao!